The Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. Good evening, Brisbane, and welcome to your local weekly technology news show. Coming up tonight, Apple's forced to change charging ports on iPhones. Windows 11 gets an update which should make using the File Explorer a lot better. We'll look into some games teased over the weekend and a gadget to save your life. All that on tonight's Tech News Hour with TechNut here on Switch Brisbane. The Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. WWDC was last week, and a swath of new hardware and changes at the software level were announced by Apple. My rumour about the iPad last week was confirmed with multitasking and the ability to use the iPad on a second screen, not as a duplicate of the main screen, but as an entirely separate desktop like PCs and Macs have been able to do for quite a while. The biggest news, however, is that your next iPhone may use a different charging port. The EU has made it law that all phones, tablets and cameras sold after 2024 must have a USB-C charging port, the same port that we've been using on Android phones for quite a while. Apple, as usual, are up in arms about being forced against going their way, stating potential e-waste problems, something they seem to lack concern with during the transition from the original 30-pin connector to the Lightning cable that all iPhones have used since. However, Apple's already transitioned the iPad and MacBooks over to USB-C charging years ago, starving iPhones of the ability to do things that modern hardware can do and has been able to do for a long time, and that's data speed. The Lightning connector's stuck on USB 2 speeds, where USB 3 has been the norm on pretty much everything, including the Samsung Galaxy S5, which is a phone that recently celebrated its 8th birthday. Previously, the EU mandated all phones have the same micro USB port for charging. That was back in the late 2000s, meaning every phone maker had to use that port. However, Apple got away with it that time by including an adapter in the box. But this time, the EU's turned around and said, no, it has to be on the phone. It can't be an additional accessory. About time, I say. I mean, if they could mandate the return of the 3.5mm headphone jack, I'd be ecstatic. This is TechNut on the Tech News Hour, here on Switch Brisbane. The Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. Using File Explorer in Windows 11 is about to get a whole lot easier. Microsoft started rolling out tab browsing in File Explorer. The company briefly tested the feature out, one of the most requested Windows features on the Microsoft Feedback Hub ever. The Feedback Hub, for those who don't know, is a place to send in your feedback and suggestions when you're running a development or a preview version of a Microsoft operating system. Or they had it as a feature in 2017 in one of the Windows 10 Insider builds, but soon removed it afterwards. Microsoft is rolling out the new File Explorer tabbed interface with the release of the Windows 11 Insider Preview build 25136 to the dev channel, which means end users should see the feature at the end of the next major update cycle, due in about 3 months or so. To help you work across multiple locations at the same time, the title bar of File Explorer now has tabs, the Windows Insider team had said. This will be an interesting feature actually, especially if you're using one or two screens where you need some more space and you're shifting a lot of files around between folders. It's something I do quite regularly. Also on Microsoft news, Microsoft is bringing Xbox Game Pass cloud streaming to smart TVs, so users don't need a console to play Xbox games. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers will be able to stream games through the cloud using a new dedicated app for Samsung smart TVs and monitors, simply called the Xbox app. You'll be able to install on Samsung screens just like you'd install Netflix and play Xbox games without the need for an actual Xbox or PC. This ability to stream games through Xbox Game Pass Ultimate has been available on mobile devices like mobile phones and iPads for a few years, but now you can enjoy these on the big screen if you own a Samsung TV. Feature will become available more mainstream in the future. My guess is it's just a bit of a hardware exclusive type thing they're doing at the moment. This is TechNut with the Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. We'll be back in a bit. The Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. It's now a requirement that all houses in Queensland have interlinked smoke alarms, and it needn't cost you the world. While it's recommended to get hardwired units, that is, where the alarm is powered off mains electricity, wireless interconnected detectors with lifetime batteries, that is, the battery is non-replaceable and lasts the lifetime of detector, can be purchased for about $30 a unit. eBay has 7-pack units with a remote for around about the $250 mark. That's enough to cover a 3-bedroom house with a study and can be installed DIY. All smoke alarms have a 10-year service life, after which they really should be replaced. The electronics in smoke alarms degrade as they age, and realistically you should have one in any room that has electronics or electrical items where if a device malfunctions and it could cause combustion, be detected before that problem gets too great, and so that you have time to either rectify the issue or get out. Life is more important than gadgets. Protecting yourself is important. This is a Tech Nut safety tip on Switch Brisbane. The Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. Get into PC gaming on the cheap. If you're looking to get into gaming on limited funds, look secondhand. The oldest I'd go is a 4th gen Intel i5 or i7 CPU based desktop PC. These have USB 3 support, they have AVX2 which some modern games require, they use DDR3 memory which is plenty cheap, and they accept all modern GPUs and are able to keep up with most graphics cards. Kit the system with a pair of 4GB DDR3 modules. That'll give you 8GB in total, which most games are quite happy with. It enables dual channel memory support, which will result in less frame stutter. You add to this a 500GB SSD drive, if it doesn't already come with it. They're about $60. That's where you put your Windows 10 and where you store your main big games. And then kit the box out with at least a GTX 960 or 1050 GPU. You can get these secondhand for under $150. Any more than that's probably too much. Or you can put a brand new RX 6500 GPU in. They're about $350 and are perfect for single screen 1080p full HD gaming. You may have to drop some of your settings down to medium or medium high, but even games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Far Cry 5 will run on these machines without any issues. They're a good value, cheap solution that will handle modern games very well, and there's also the huge back catalogue of PC games. Definitely a way to go. This is Tech Nut with the Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. The Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. Let's check out some games. We've got a couple of games due out soon. We've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That's due out next week. This is developed by Tribute Games. The game captures the beat-em-up brawling of the classic arcade games in the franchise, like Turtles in Time. The game even features local play and supports up to 6 players co-op. Now that would be pretty mad. Looking at the trailer, the game does look very much like it's based on the 90s arcade version, with the characters and the voice antics coming pretty much straight from the 80s cartoon. Personally, my favourite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. Definitely better than the modern stuff, but that could be showing my age. Also, Call of Duty Modern Warfare returns to a familiar setting. Modern Warfare 2's gameplay was shown off for the first time at Summer Game Fest, giving the viewers a partial look at mission footage from the game. The footage shows off one of the new story missions, reintroducing players to the Modern Warfare world. The mission shows a covert team infiltrating an oil rig and ship. While it periodically gets action heavy, it starts as a fairly quiet stealth mission that predictably devolves into chaos. And one other game that looks quite interesting that was released during Summer Game Fest, a trailer for a new version of Street Fighter. So a modernization of the original. Pretty much it contains updated movesets, it brings all of the game's classic features and moves and styling, the acting, the sounds, the fight styles, with modernized versions added, as well as the graphics being updated with very well rendered arenas, kind of based loosely on the older ones, but definitely looks pretty sweet too. That's a quick look at some games coming out soon. Something to keep our eyes on. You're listening to Tech Nut on the Tech News Hour here on Switch Brisbane. We'll be back in a bit. The Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. Thank you for your company tonight. I'm seeking comment from you, the listener, about what you would like here covered on the Tech News Hour. If you can send your comments through switchbrisbane.com.au/contact, that would be great. Anyway, have a good week. I'll catch you here next week, Tuesday, 9 PM on Switch Brisbane. See ya.